This episode of More Stories brought to you by Stamps.com. Think about how many hours you've had to waste going to the post office for your business or your personal items, driving there, parking, waiting for the next available clerk. Are you kidding? Yeah, that's a long wait. There's nothing I can do to get those hours back to you, but I can save you time moving forward. You got to get Stamps.com. Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your desk 24/7. Here's my desk. Here's my digital scale. Got my printer set up right here. I'm all set to go. I buy, print, official U.S. postage, all of it, using my own stuff 24/7. I don't need anybody. Stamps.com sends you a digital scale, not mine. Get your own. Instantly calculate exact postage for any letter or package, any class of mail. You will never have to go to the post office again, ever. Special offer right now. Use my last name, Mohr, M-O-H-R, for this special offer. No risk trial. $110 bonus offer that includes the digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the home page, and type in Mohr, M-O-H-R. Stamps.com, enter Mohr. Warriors won serious money this past week at DraftKings.com. If you play fantasy football, don't sit through a sucky season with a bad team hitting the waiver wire for nothing. America's favorite one-week fantasy football league. You got to check them out. DraftKings takes watching football to a whole new level because you win cash every week, every game. DraftKings is a one-week fantasy football, so no season-long commitments, no being stuck with the same players, just instant cash, instant gratification. One guy won $100,000 his very first time. $100,000? Come on. $100,000 day one. DraftKings.com. Right now, Warriors get up to $600 free. Use promo code JAYJ. And for every dollar you deposit, DraftKings will match it up to $600. That's $600 totally free. Hurry. This amazing offer expires this Friday. Enter the promo code JAY, today at DraftKings.com. And please email me when you win that money, and we will celebrate together. DraftKings.com. Promo code J.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
Oh my gosh, he is an Emmy Award winner waiting to happen. Dash Mihok, you got to hold the mic real close to your mouth, Dash.
Okay.
Star of Ray Donovan. You play Bunchy on Ray Donovan, and you may know him from The Thin Red Line. We could go through your whole IMDb. Maybe you know him from his guest appearance on Law & Order. Maybe you know him from Burn Notice or The Good Wife. I feel like I'm reading someone else's. Where are all the movies here?
There's a bunch of movies. Last 5 years been a little rough for the movie business.
You were on Foxfire. But screw all that noise. I got to say, Dash, you and my wife were friends like as kids.
We
you guys
were.
Did a pilot together.
Yep, we did. We did
How
a
old
show
were you guys?
together. I was 21. Yeah, I was 21. We did the show called Pearl with Rhea Perlman and Lucy Liu and Malcolm McDowell and Kevin Corrigan, the crazy cast, Carol Kane.
My wife says to this day, greatest show on TV ever that never got picked up as a pilot.
No. We did a season.
Oh, like I said, my wife always says.
Yeah,
I didn't
she
know
was
you
a
did
guest. She did more than one episode.
She said she was on it.
Yeah, so we
and
did
Malcolm
one.
McDowell had like these crazy long speeches.
Insane long speeches.
Oh yeah, they did do a season.
We did one season
because another guy from Clockwork Orange did a guest spot. The guy that played the creepy professor,
Yes.
And him and Malcolm McDowell in the middle of recording that day just sat down at the edge of a bed on the set
And went
did
off.
the entire scene, including the teacher grabbing his balls at the end.
Yeah.
So Ray Donovan is what you know him as right now. He's not Ray Donovan. That's Liev Schreiber. But cooler is that you play the character of Bunchy. And I got to tell you, it is It really is like upper level acting. What you're doing on Ray Donovan, to wash your balls for a second. The character of Bunchy is so complicated and so hard. And when I watch it, I think I couldn't do that role. I couldn't. I wouldn't even know how to go, because your character is like tortured on Ray. Not literally, internally, literally, just completely tortured. Now, your audition for Ray Donovan, was it an offer, or do you have to audition and play those excruciating, painful, sad scenes in front of some casting director and some fat girl working a camera?
Yeah, I did have to audition, and luckily I auditioned for the creator of the show, Ann Binneman, right away. So I didn't have to go through an extended casting process. But yeah, I walked into a room and tried to give this. This guy the layers he deserves, because there's a lot going on with him.
Does it say in the character breakdown when you do the script, does it say like how tortured he is, or do you go in, or did you just take liberty and go, did you go full on in? Did you dive head first and do what we see Bunchy doing on Ray Donovan? Is that pretty much what you did in the room? Because that's scary to do in front of strangers.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I read this script and I was like, this is the best pilot I've read in 10 years. And immediately I knew they were going to have me coming from Bunchy. And then I said, this is the one I want. And, you say that a million times in your career and it never happens and you never even get a shot at it. So I was really excited about this one. And yeah, I went hard in it. In fact, I think they pulled me back a little bit because I was crying and doing the whole business. And then the director, Alan Coulter, was like, okay, now we have that, let's try and pull it back. And then I went in again to read with Liev for the network and all that business. But
is he as cool as we all think he is?
Liev is very cool, and what people don't know about Liev is that he everybody thinks he's just the serious Shakespearean actor, which he is, and the voice of every documentary that you've ever seen in your life.
Cold November wind, like the Cincinnati
it's ridiculous.
Bengals,
I mean, it's really ridiculous. But he's really a goof too, and just kind of a kid from the village, like I am in New York. So
you grew up in the village?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Bank Street.
That's nice, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. I went to PS3. He went to 41, I think. And
that's got to be tough. New York public schools got to be like way out there as far as getting your ass kicked every day.
Yeah. And then I went to school in the Bronx. I think you were talking about going to Yankee Stadium at some point. And I used to take the D train to the last stop in the Bronx in high school every day. You know how many fucking beepers? And you know how many beepers and
no, we
headphones?
curse all the time on this.
I got taken. I mean, I must have thousands of dollars worth of electronics. Beepers.
I like your beeper, man. That's how you know you're getting mugged, as soon as you get complimented. For people that aren't New York specific, if you're listening from another part of the country, in Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, it's not like, hey, give me your shoes. That's not how you get mugged in New York City. How you get mugged in New York City is somebody goes, I like that beeper, man. And that is code for give it up.
Then you can either pause, decide to run, or you can just go, you want it?
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking, this is a guy that looks like he could use a really good beeper.
Yeah.
You've overcome a lot in your life. Not only, first of all, if you take the subway to school, that's a sign that things are hard. Like to get on the subway for like tourists, they freak out and they clutch their purses. But you're a child. You're like 10 years old on the subway and people are stealing thousands of dollars.
Yeah, my parents
opened a Fry's.
My parents were pretty fearless. I don't know why. It's so funny that right now I think kids are on the trains less in New York City, and it's like the safest city ever now. Yeah. And when we were young, it was hood and scary and whatever. My parents were like, "Oh, you're 8 now. You can go to school. Go ahead." And we were fine.
Get on the train, Dash, until it stops.
Yeah.
If you've hit Canarsie, you went in the wrong direction. Get back on the train and be tardy.
Exactly.
Did you go to college?
I didn't. I went to like Fordham for like a year of pre-college, but then I started working, and I just blew it off.
How young were you when you started working? So that's got to be pretty early.
I was about 18, 19.
But you were smart enough to go to college, which is impressive. I was a dummy, and I couldn't go to college.
Well, I went to this really academic high school called Bronx High School of Science, and I don't know why they put like this this academic school in the middle of the ghetto, but they do. So they put us next to the hardest, most gangster
just
school.
to rub their noses in it.
Yeah, like and we're
Look at all our books.
and we're in their sports division, which is just a joke, So here we are I'm playing on the baseball team, and these kids on the basketball team next to DeWitt Clinton, and half our team, we're half like Korean. I mean, we have an ultimate team. We don't have a football team, and then we're in the same
bunch of mathletes playing basketball.
Ridiculous.
Were you on the basketball team?
I tried. What
was your sport? What was your favorite sport?
Baseball and basketball, but I was 5'9" in high school. Now I'm 6'3". I had more ups then.
Oh,
100% more hops.
You had some hops?
Back then, I could probably get closer to the rim than I do now. It's pretty ugly.
I can't even get in that. I got a gut. I'm always wearing flip-flops. I'm on the west side, man. I got flip-flops. They're like, you want to play? I'm like, I would, but my footwear is inappropriate. If you guys want to sit on the beach and do nothing and look for dolphins for about 40 minutes, I'm your guy. Go to jmohr.com, click the Amazon banner, and buy something for yourself. And we're going to announce a contest winner a little later in this podcast. Now, we had a big contest. GoDaddy Dash was a big sponsor of the More Stories podcast. And what they did was they said, for $2.49, you create a website name. You don't have to get a website up and running. You just get a URL, and you can have it for a year for $2.49. So where we came in with the sponsor was we made it a contest, come up with the best website and URL name for something that's so inside joke to this podcast. And we had 5 finalists, like somebody was making fun of Maddie's trimmed mustache, getmaddieamike.com, because he used to always be off mic, and he used to holler at I'd have to repeat his jokes and go, did you guys hear what Maddie said? And then our finalists are spillingmyjizz.com. That was based on an R&B song that Matty Boy created. You want to give us a verse?
Bust it.
I don't wear a condom because I gotta let my jizz spill.
Ha.
I gotta let my jizz spill. Yeah. That's all.
Do you need a beat?
No, that's fine.
Right.
I think that's enough. You got the gist.
And we talked about making a video for all this.
You got the jizz.
I got the jizz of it.
So you got the jizz of it. So, yeah, that's one of the finalists, lettingmyjizzspill.com. That was sent from a lady. And then a dude sent in No Biting Man because my manager was on once. And I was at my manager's house, and his kids were fighting. You met my manager today.
Yeah.
He looks like Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Barry Katz, man. And his kids
I met
were
Barry before.
Probably.
He doesn't remember me. I was like, when you do that thing where you're like, nice to see you, just in case. But it was really nice to see him.
Yeah. It's called being in show business. People come up to you like, hey, good to see you again. You're like, no, I just thought I really liked your work in Thin Red Line. You're like, no, I meant, I saw you when you're coming up the street.
Yeah.
I see you again from then. So our finalists are lettingmyjizzspill.com and nobitingman.com. And Dash Mihok, I told the listeners, you send me pictures at jmohr.com of what you would put on that website, but nothing. You can't actually show jizz flowing out of a cock. That's not cool. But things that look like it, like people popping champagne, guys. Some guy had beer spilling down his face, a lot of whipped cream.
I don't know if it was beer.
You think it might have been the real deal?
It was a little thicker than beer.
All right, so maybe a little cream cheese,
yogurt,
Nivea lotion, maybe some lotion.
Might have been some lotion. It was very liquidy, and it was a bucket full. It was a bucket full, at least a gallon.
A gallon?
His face was covered.
Now you're an expert at estimating how much jizz is on a guy's face?
I'm pretty good at it.
Hey, look at this guy. That's a half gallon of jizz.
About 16.9 ounces.
A pint.
Big deal. That's a small boy. He's
It's about a tall boy of jizz.
Yeah, you know what? That's about 16 ounces of jizz, JJ. Not for nothing. Speaking... And the other finalist was No Biting Man for Barry Katz. No Biting Man, your winner is...
Stuart Rosen, nobitingman.com. Now, this may sound like an insert, but it's not. We all decided to just stop and change our voices and have different audio quality. Stuart Rosen at nobitingman.com. You have won the GoDaddy contest. Stuart Rosen has a website, nobitingman.com. Go check it out. Congratulations, Stuart Rosen. I am going to mail you a Mohr t-shirt or a More Stories, More Your podcast t-shirt, you know what? How about this? Why don't you go to jmohr.com and pick the t-shirt you want, my man. Congratulations, Stuart Rosen. You're the winner. Chicken dinner. Stuart Rosen, nobitingman.com.
So congratulations to him. It was incredible, and it was great, and I want to thank all the listeners of the More Stories podcast for absolutely inundating jmohr.com and emailing me photos of Barry Katz as Mills Lane, the referee between Holyfield and Tyson, going, no biting man. People being bitten by dogs, bitten by sharks. There was one guy who had a snake biting his face. No biting man. And over and over and over again. So you are the winner. I'm going to mail you a Warrior t-shirt. Congratulations, my man. You are the winner of the GoDaddy.com contest from J. Mohr, More Stories, I should say. But I want to talk about my man, Aaron Cashin, and then we're going right back to Dash Mihok, and I want to talk about Thin Red Line a lot. I got a lot of Thin Red Line questions, a lot more Ray Donovan questions. This guy, if you want to buy anything from Amazon, go to jmohr.com, click the Amazon banner, and I will make you famous with your friends by saying your name on this podcast, listened to by hundreds of people. Jay, just use the Amazon link to purchase some Unisolve adhesive remover. I use these to remove my Omnipod insulin pump every 3 days. Keep up the great work. Also, you were the only redeeming quality of Burt Wonderstone. Aaron Cashin, technical sale. I'm not going to say where he lives, but thank you. And I'm sorry that you're on an insulin pump. That seems like a tough hustle, but I'm glad you were able to use the Amazon banner to help clean your insulin pump. Dash Mihok. I've been saying Mihok for like a month.
You're not the only one.
A lot. Most people?
Most people say Mihok. It's kind of spelled that way.
Mihok?
Mihok, but I don't know. The Czechs say it different.
Are you Czechoslovakian?
I'm Czech, yeah.
What if you're like, no, I'm Vietnamese?
No, people are like, oh, you're American Indian. You
Really?
have a hawk in it. There's hawk, my hawk. There's something, Mohawk, Milcox.
should run with it
I get
and just get-
Minox, Milcox. My older sister's name is Cecily. I got a letter at the house one day. It said Cecily Minox. So, needless to say, it's
I think you
Dash
should. I think
Smith.
you should never disagree with people when they say you're American Indian, and then your whole family gets free scholarships for the rest of their lives because they're half Indian. Because my dad's an American name. You know my dad, Dash Mohawk. You've come a long way, Dash, and you were mentioning on my radio show, J. Mohr Sports, that you work with a charity. Do you want to mention it now?
Yeah, no, I work with a couple different, but there's one in particular. I'm going to give you guys a bracelet right now. I have a bracelet for you. There's a kid that I work with in Florida, and he's across the globe now. His name is Jalen Arnold, and he started a website.
This is Jalen's Challenge?
Jalen's Challenge. This kid has Tourette syndrome and Asperger's, and I have Tourette syndrome, and I saw this kid on a little spot on CNN like 5 years ago, and he was like, I'm starting my own website. I'm like, to stop bullying in schools, and I want to go speak to kids. And I was like, I just sent him an email saying, hey, you're really brave, and I admire you, because when I was that age, I was afraid. I was hiding it all the time, and I hid it for so many years. And
So
and
you
he
have
emailed me
Tourette's
back.
syndrome.
I have Tourette's, yeah. But I'm not sitting here, barking or cursing at you, which is what most people think we do. Jalen'sChallenge.org.
JAYLENS, Jalen'sChallenge.org. Nobody likes bullying, obviously. And my guest sitting across from me, who's one of my favorite actors, and I'm straight honest. Like I wouldn't just. There's been a lot of guests where I'm like, so you also did this, you also did that. But every time I see you on camera, I always think you're like the best guy in the thing. And for you to stand out in Thin Red Line, we'll get to that in a second. There's a lot of stars in that movie. But the fact that you fought through Tourette's, and now this kid, there's a lot of listeners that this will do a lot of good for, Asperger's and Tourette's, Jalen'sChallenge.org, JaYLENS Challenge.org. This is a really good thing, and I'm really glad you brought it up, because one good thing about this podcast is it reaches a ton of people that like to do good for other people, and a lot of people listening right now are probably going through the same things.
There's something. They did a segment on me on CNN, and it's online now. And you can read up about my interview and stuff. And they were down there in Florida filming us. We went to a bunch of schools, and we do a whole anti-bullying program. So we just sort of talk about acceptance, and we bring up Tourette syndrome just as an example of something that somebody has that makes them different, but unique in their own way. And then we have a whole program, and we show clips, and we talk to the kids, and it's really an amazing thing. So if you want us to come to your school, get in touch with Jalen'sChallenge.org, and we'll try to work that out.
You were on Oprah as a kid, weren't you?
No, I wasn't on Oprah. I did like some Peter Jen. I was in a couple
You were
of
on
videos.
some big show as a kid talking about Tourette's.
Yeah, I was on it was more of a PSA thing.
Well, that's still a big thing.
Yeah.
And brave. How old were you when you did that?
I think I was 11.
11.
Which is funny because I keep going, oh, Jalen was brave. He was 8, and I guess I did do something back then.
You were brave, too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know anything about Tourette's except for what I see when, like, shitty comics make fun of it.
Yeah.
Or when I see people with it, like, on the Learning Channel.
Yeah.
Or when you're a baby, are there Tourette's things as a baby?
No. Although Jalen was diagnosed when he was 2, that's the earliest case I've ever heard. Usually you come to see it when people are about 6 years old, and then it gets really bad in through the puberty years, 11 to 14, and it's really it's more predominant in boys. So
when your body's going through its changes, that's when Tourette's
it's like the
starts to take
worst
up a notch,
time. And
too.
I mean, I couldn't sit still. I was a mess, and I did have more vocal tics then and stuff. But when I was 18, 19, it subsided enough where I could control it a lot more easy. I don't have to take medication or anything.
So you've never taken medication?
I did. Well, I did in school, so I could get through school. So yeah,
Now,
New York
going
City
back
public schools
Yeah, that's what I
and
was going to say. Going back
Tourette's.
to New York City public school. No wonder you're on board with jalenschallenge.org and anti-bullying. I can't imagine an 11-year-old kid in Tourette's going to school in the Bronx just walking to the subway.
Yeah, well,
when a group of Puerto Rican guys and you're like, fuck you, motherfucker. They probably think you're calling them out, and you're like, no, you don't understand. I've been diagnosed with a very specific disease. It's all in the books. It's in the books.
Give me your
school.
beeper.
Yeah, it's in the books in the school behind me. If you guys would care to crack them open once in a while.
Yeah.
What was your biggest tick?
I don't know. The ones that I hated the most were, when I had to touch things, and sometimes you had to touch other kids, but you touch kids' heads and stuff. But I had things where I'd throw my hand on my back and I'd like have to kiss my knee and like kick. I mean, my body's very flexible, but also very beat up over the years from this kind of stuff. And, I'm fortunate enough now that it has subsided. I don't need medication, and
How do you do
know how to
interviews?
handle it.
How do you go on like the Tonight Show and ensure that you won't?
You don't. When I do, when I do an interview now, I feel free. It's out there. So if I don't know. If I go on the Tonight Show, maybe you'll see it, maybe you won't. It's when I'm on camera, it's different because in your mind, body, passion, soul, whatever, you're all
I know what it is because when you're on camera, you're someone else.
You're someone else, and so for those moments, you're totally, you can stop ticking. Then when they say cut, I'm looking at I have a big thing with lights, and I'm always looking at lights. It's like the worst job you could have, being on with like a 10K light in your face, and they're like roll sound, and you're like. And they're like action, and you do this crazy scene, you're crying, whatever, and they're like cut, and you're like. You get to do all your stuff. So it's very interesting.
At what age did you know something's not right with me?
Well, it runs in my.
Were you told that?
It runs in my family. So
is that normal? Is it hereditary?
Yeah, it's hereditary. So and I was the youngest of 3 kids, so they were just waiting and watching, and I was the only boy.
Did your brothers and sisters have it?
My older sisters had it. Yeah.
Now, at 6 years old, are you aware? Like I said, do you think it's normal to like touch other kids on the head?
No, I didn't have to do that yet. I mean, and usually you touch other kids when they're your friends. I mean, you don't just go out and whack people, But at 6, I started shaking my head violently, and Tourette's is something where it's a neurological thing that affects it's like your nervous system. So let's say you have an itch on your finger. It's like an itch times 2,000, and the itch is that there's a nerve ending in the tip of your finger in a specific part of the finger, like one cell in this finger, and you need to go touch a corner to that cell, and until that nerve ending is touched in this specific place, and then it sends back to your brain that you did it, you'll keep doing it. And so it's so specific to a specific nerve ending from your extremities that go back to your brain. It's a wild we could go really deep into the medical
I would like
explanation.
to, because I think this is important, and I'm fascinated by it because you never sit across from somebody with Tourette's that explains to you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
How much, and forgive me for interrupting, because if I don't say it right away, I'll forget it, but I think they're questions that the listeners want to know too. It's got to be emotionally one of the most draining things to have because you know it's happening and you're incapable of stopping it, and all you want to do is stop it.
Yeah, I mean the definition that everybody says is that it's involuntary, and the only problem that I have with that definition is that it's involuntary only in that it's impossible to not do it, but it is a voluntary compulsion, which makes it that much more torturous, because here you are having to do something, but if I just twitched and I didn't even know I was doing it unconsciously, life would be fine. I wouldn't even know. But it's the fact that you're tortured by you have to do this, and you know you're going to disrupt the room, you're going to disrupt somebody else's experience of whatever they're looking at or listening to, and that's the torturous, the stressful part of it, that you're gonna screw somebody else's day up. Or I always tell people I can make a movie but I can't watch one, so I always sit in the back of the theater, so because I don't want to be ticking and have somebody behind me be like, dude, you're you're annoying.
What, it's a movie with a lot of bright lights?
Yeah.
Then you'd be in heaven.
No, yeah, you'd be in heaven with the bright lights.
If somebody with Tourette syndrome, not the verbal ones, that's the ones that are I don't want to say most popular.
It's called the echolalia is when you repeat a lot. Anything lalia. Coprolalia is the cursing. And coprolalia gets the most,
That's the one
that's the
in
media.
news,
Yeah, which and maybe 5% of people that have Tourette's do that. And also Tourette's wax and wane, so you may have to do that at one point. I did have to curse for a specific time in my childhood, but then it stopped.
What was the word you had to say?
I would have to say fuck. And it's less about the word than about the satisfying the nerve in your throat. Like I have to say fuck a certain way, like fuck, and you'd satisfy this little nerve ending in your throat in a specific place. When you got that right, you were done. You can move on.
If I had a person without echolalia with Tourette syndrome, and if you put them, this is going to sound horrible, and I don't mean it to. Like if you put them literally like in a straitjacket and bound their feet, would that just be is it a waiting game until they're unbound so they can get back to all the? Is it then 100%. You have to make up all the time you missed?
I mean, to an extent, yes. You don't store it. I mean, I'm sure that you'd get past it, and that's the debate. And people want to do that. They want to test because it's such a misunderstood, diagnosed syndrome. People, it just seems crazy. It's like, why, when you can see something in somebody, if somebody has a deformity or, they're suffering from some crazy ailment, it's that they can't help.
Right.
But the thing is, we can't help it either. It just looks like we can. And especially as kids and you're in that puberty phase, that's a phase of rebellion anyway. So when kids start doing things that seem rebellious, people are like, they're just acting out. But it's not that. It's a brain chemistry. There's, we all have dopamine and serotonin in our body. And if you go this much, it's autism. And if you come back a little way, it's Tourette's. And if you go the other way, it's Parkinson's. Those two brain chemicals control all these sorts of diseases and syndromes that we have. And it's just the level of dopamine and serotonin that fluctuates that gives people depression and other forms of mental disorders.
It sounds like, in a way, the way you just explained it to me, and I'm really glad we're having this conversation. I'm learning a lot, and I know the listeners are dialed in right now. This is great. Saying to somebody with Tourette's, well, why don't you just not do it, is like seeing somebody with a nub for an arm saying, why don't you just grow an arm?
Yeah.
There's nothing. I can't grow an arm.
That's exactly what
I don't have an arm.
It's and I understand those people. Like, I get it. Like, it doesn't.
The people that say just
I
stop.
get it. It doesn't make sense. They're like, you could just stop, but you just stop. You don't have to touch that thing. But you have to walk in our shoes, you just literally take the worst itch you've ever had and then times that by 2,000. There's no way you're not going to scratch it. It's not like a sneeze where a sneeze is coming and it's just going to go. This is a compulsive disorder.
Has it ever gotten in the way of acting, have you ever gone into an audition and realized, ooh, this isn't the day for an audition. This is a bad one?
I mean, there's certain days, but again, when I'm acting, when I'm in there, I don't really tick. It's in between. But there are certain times in the waiting room that I'll have, it'll be a bad day. And the problem is when you're tired and stressed, that's when it's at its worst. And usually when you're tired and stressed, you're going into a room.
And that's when we're all at our worst too.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you guys about dollarshaveclub.com. I don't ever put my name on something I don't believe in. dollarshaveclub.com. I did not think you could improve upon the regular old razor. They did. These guys are the best. They deliver amazing quality razor blades and other bathroom goodness right to your door for just a couple bucks a month. dollarshaveclub.com. No more schlepping to the store and having them unlock the razor blades for you. No more painful shaves with old worn out razors. Everybody is getting dollarshaveclub.com blades. I got them. They are the best razors I have ever used. Get this. Dollar Shave Club heard about the amazing mustache I'm growing for Movember to raise money to fight cancer. So they reached out to sponsor me and the More Stories podcast. For every one of you that signs up with the promo code J, my name, J-J-A-Y, they're going to donate $10 to my Movember team. $10 to help fight cancer from each and every one of you that signs up using the promo code J. Go sign up now at dollarshaveclub.com with the promo code J. We get a $10 donation. You get amazing razors for a few bucks a month. Promo code J-A-Y-J. Shave time, shave money. dollarshaveclub.com.
Thin Red Line. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite movies. Every 10 years, Terrence Malick comes off the mountaintop, and I say that with reverence, and decides to make one of my favorite movies of all time. And Thin Red Line, it's astounding how great it is. And a lot of people, when they watch Thin Red Line, I remember opening weekend, people were in the lobby, and they were like cursing, and they were angry because there were so many shots of like ants. Like you guys would be in battle, and then they would cut away to like ants, and they would cut away to like bats hanging upside down sleeping. But for me, for some reason, I just got exactly what he was doing, and that is life goes on. You're and at one point, one of the characters says, "It's dirt. We're fighting over dirt," and he goes mad, and he's holding all the dirt in his hands.
Yeah, John Savage,
and he's just going, "It's dirt." So when you're in a movie that big, Thin Red Line, and a Terrence Malick, first of all, there's like 4 names that when they call your agent or your agent gets you in the door to audition for that person, it is, without getting the job, it changes your life. It's a mood-altering drug, and I don't think people realize this that are not in show business. If your agent says, Terrence Malick, you're going to go audition for Thin Red Line, and it's your third callback, now you're doing a screen test for Terrence Malick, it consumes you.
Yeah.
And it's all-encompassing. Then you find out Sean Penn's in it, John Travolta's in it, Jim Caviezel's in it, Ben Chaplin's in it, Nick Nolte's in it. I mean, was that the most intimidating audition you had ever had?
Yes and no, because first of all, I was a lot younger, and there's something to be said for being an actor in your early 20s because you just don't give a fuck as much. I mean, you give a fuck, but you don't I think the older we get, the more we're more nervous and we need to get a part. And as a kid, you got 4 beers, a little swagger, and also the audition process for that movie was for me was all on tape, so I never met Terry. And I actually...
That's what you call Terrence Malick? That's what he prefers to be called?
Terry, yeah.
All right.
Terry
Just letting
Malick.
people know that you're not talking about my mother-in-law.
Yeah. And so in that sense, I didn't have to go meet him.
So the first time you met him was on set?
First time I met him was on set. The first time I got a call from him was he called me at my home and was like, I want you to play this part, and that was
Private First Class Doll.
Yeah, it was one of the best moments of my life, and I was thrilled because I'm a huge Terry Malick fan, and at the same time they were casting for Saving Private Ryan, and so there was this whole Hollywood faction like who's going to be in Private Ryan or Thin Red Line, and 2 very different movies.
Yeah. Did you know when you read the script that it was going to be as great as it was. Because the Terrence Malick format, there's a lot, like I said earlier, there's a lot of shots. There's just a lot of photography. And
yeah, we shot the shit out of it.
You can curse all you want on this.
We shot rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls. There was,
but is that in the script? Like, we're going to shoot a lot of film?
No, I mean, the script was really long, but it would change. And we would get there and he'd give you a page of dialogue and be like, I want you to learn this on the, and
it would writing it and rewriting
it would be all over the place. Yeah. And then, we were shooting in the rainforest in Australia. So there's all these amazing animals. And, if there was a crazy bird, Terry would just like go, give me the camera. And he would run over and like shoot the bird because he wanted to in the middle of like a big scene. And that's
not when Sean Penn was there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Sean understood Terry. We all kind of understood. Terry was, he's the coach, and we would all kind of wait on deck to come in and do stuff. So the script was, a template, but a lot of the stuff that was in the script didn't make the film, and there was a lot of the film that happened there and happened in the editing room, obviously.
What fascinates me after the fact with Thin Red Line is the more actors I talk to, the more I'm told how many different people were supposed to be the star of Thin Red Line. And they never say Sean Penn. They say like Ben Chaplin was supposed to be the star.
Adrian Brody was supposed to be the star.
Adrian Brody, Dash Mihok was supposed to be the star. And then in editing, somehow Terrence Malick, or Terry, just figures out, no, the best way for this movie to work is if we focus on Jim Caviezel and his little journey. Yeah. Everyone has like such indelible storylines. That's got to be like almost disappointing when you see the movie or when you get a call from Terry Malick going, yeah, we're not doing the
Terry did call me one day and he said, Dash, I'd love to do Terry's voice, but now I don't want to do.
Why not?
He goes, Dash, we're not doing the doll story. And Terry, I love you. But I was like, okay, I didn't know what that meant. I just know that I shot what could have been a lead to this movie for sure. 100%. I shot so much stuff.
Did he shoot each guy as if they were the lead? Did it seem that way? Like, did Ben Chaplin?
No, Ben and I we shot the most days, so Ben and I felt like we had shot the biggest arcs, but he definitely shot enough that a lot of people could have been the lead. And then
Ben
when you
Chaplin's
watch the
barely in the movie,
yeah,
comparatively,
he is a decent part. Look, I think anybody who spends 6 months shooting a film is ultimately probably going to be disappointed after you do that much. You're going to see stuff that's missing, and you're always disappointed. I'm always disappointed the first time I see a film anyway, even if it's genius. Yeah, because I'm always looking for that stuff that I did. And then, I call it the three viewing levels of acceptance. I watch the thing, I go, where's my stuff? What the fuck? All my shit's cut. And then the second one I go, oh, okay, well, all right, this is, I'm starting to think that, okay, I accept that. Okay, now it's a good movie. And then the third one, you're like, oh, you know what? This is actually a really good movie, and I'm cool with it.
That's your grieving process.
Totally. But the first time you watch, you're totally looking. I mean, being, a vain actor that I am, I suppose, you can't help it. You're like, where's the fucking shit that I shot? What about that? And they used that cut? What, that edit?
Yeah.
You can't help it. You know what you thought was the best.
And we didn't even mention Woody Harrelson and George Clooney.
I know.
Like, everyone was in this movie, and it's one of the, you watch Platoon and the battle scenes, it's like all hell breaks loose, but Thin Red Line is one of the few movies where I see a group of guys overlooking a field and hills, and I got knots in my fucking stomach because something's amiss, and something's amiss, and something's amiss, and then the fire starts coming in, you don't know where it's coming from, and then all of a sudden, that's not a bush, dude. That's a dude.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's one of the greatest movies that have ever been made. But when he told you we're not doing the private doll, excuse me, we're not doing the private doll story, did you think he meant you'd been cut out of the movie entirely?
I didn't really know what to think. I didn't think that I was cut out. I mean, I knew I shot too much, and Terry and I really had a profound relationship, and he I believe he trusted me in certain ways that, he would, if there was a shot, like he always called me the Aquila, all the crane shots. If there was a crane shot where you had to run up a hill, he would always send me in because he knew that I would keep my couple feet distance from a crane. And you're running up a hill with your gun. You can't, for focus, you can't have too much distance. It has to be the same distance. And he would always send me in and to do the crane shots and that kind of stuff. So he trusted me to be on point all the time. And we developed a really strong relationship. So I didn't think I was going to get cut out. But you just never know. As Terry makes Terry movies in his way, and I'm sure he had it a bunch of different ways. I mean, everybody always says we're all waiting for the 10-hour cut, and at one point I think he said he might try to put it into like a 2-part miniseries, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Do you think it doesn't seem like Sean Penn was ever going to be the lead? Like that's because he was too like
Sean, I don't know if he
was
was ever going to be the lead, but he was always going to be the anchor.
Yeah.
Sean, and he knew that. I think Sean knew that, he was the anchor for these young bucks. He had been through this stuff before, but we were also selling, like you said, the fear of being, an 18-year-old kid who comes onto a beach and has no idea that he could be killed at any moment. And Sean, had played more of a, veteran soldier. So yet he still portrays the fear just as magnificently as,
Sean Penn takes a lot of shit from people. They're always like, oh, there goes Sean Penn, left-wing douchebag trying to save the world. And I'm always like, you go save the world. Let's be happy somebody's doing it. And the thing with Sean, as an actor, he's one of my all-time favorites. But there's guys that you look up to, and then you're on the set with them, and you're like, oh, he's kind of a dick. But you were telling me downstairs, like, he was like almost like a father figure. He was like super cool to you.
Sean was like a big brother to me, and I forever indebted. He saw that, I was working really hard, and I wanted to do well in everything, and also that I was still a little green in this business, and he's a legend, and he was just a good friend.
What would he tell you?
He didn't even have to tell me stuff. Sometimes he would just look over at me and be like, and there was one day he just looked at me and he went, he said, this is your war. And I was like, what? Sean Penn just said, this is my war, which just doesn't help your head because
it doesn't really make sense.
I'm like,
I think it's the U.S. Army's war. What are you talking about, Sean? I'm from the Bronx.
But yeah. But it was just those moments of like the anchor that he was in the movie was how he was for all of us young, cats playing grunts, and he just
so he led by example.
Yeah, his presence was just incredible, and he's just I fancy myself very much like him in the same causes that he believes in, and I'm definitely kind of a lefty, and so I vibe with him in a way, and it was just he was lovely to be around, and I'll never forget it, and I'll be forever grateful.
When you meet Terrence Malick for the first time, is it in the actual rainforest in Australia?
Good question.
Is it in Australia?
I believe it is.
Wow, that's so weird.
Yeah,
that happened to me on with Clint Eastwood. They put you on tape and they go, oh no, this is how Clint does it. He just watches tapes for like weeks, and then you'll meet him on set. I'm like, what do you mean meet him on set? That's like the spookiest thing in the world. But then I asked him about it on set, and he said, I don't know anybody could give a good audition with me sitting in the room staring at him. And it's a really fair point. Like if you're auditioning, Clint Eastwood sitting in the corner, you're going to fucking fumble the ball at the 1 yard line. Yeah. You can't pull it off.
If Terry Malick's in the room, he hasn't done a movie in 20 years, and you're like, oh my God, Terry Malick, you're going to freak out. So audition on tape is kind of a good thing.
Where did they put you guys up when you were in the rainforest? Were you guys in like tree houses? Were you zip lining?
I was in a place called what was it called? Tropic Sands. Because I know that because the guy who every time you called it, right, he would answer. He said, "Yeah, this is the Tropic Sands." It was kind of a dorm room. It was some of the guys were on the nice, but he would answer the phone. Yeah, Tropic Sands.
But he says it like he's trying to fuck you. That's what I'm hearing.
It was a little bit of
You've
that.
called
The
the
Great
tropic
Barrier Reef.
sands.
Yeah, you've reached the tropic sands.
Leave a message.
If you're on the right pint of piss and the right fucking feed, we're the one for you. Night fucking stay.
And you were there for 6 months?
6 months. And then after the 6 months, we went to the Solomon Islands. Like 5 of us went to actual Guadalcanal, which was amazing. But after the 6 months, they took, I think it was me, Jim Caviezel. Oh, I have a great story for you. Me, Jim Caviezel, Adrian Brody, John C. Riley.
Forgot he was in it. Jesus. It's the biggest cast in the world.
And we go to the actual Guadalcanal where it happened. And nobody goes there. It's full of malaria and stuff. But the Melanesian people, you see them, they're incredibly beautiful. All these dark skinned people with blonde hair. And
is that where Jim the second unit stuff where Caviezel's like AWOL?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was out there. I mean, we were shooting on boats like off of islands that were just shells, and it was stunning. But it was also, it's in a place called Iron Bottom Sound because the most ships were sunk there in World War II, and we got to scuba dive and like go and sit in the cockpit of like a B-52 bomber underneath the water, and like go up on the hill and actually pick up mortar shells and stuff. It's untouched. It was incredible. I mean, it was grinding because it was the end of the shoot, but it was absolutely magnificent to actually shoot in the place where this battle happened. And I have a great story because Adrian Brody's from Queens, and I'm from Manhattan, and we were both hip hop kids.
You like the Beastie Boys?
We like the Beasties, and throughout the whole shoot, Adrian and I. We bonded because he'd be making beats, and I always like to freestyle rap and do that kind of thing. And we make beats together, and we're in Guadalcanal, and we see this poster up for a local battle of the bands. So me and Adrian
in the Solomon Islands
decide that we're going to go and take a shot at the battle of the bands in Guadalcanal, in the Solomon Islands. And all these guys are getting up there and playing like crazy rock and reggae, and it's just a sea of black people. And we're these two white boys that get up on stage and he puts on like his beats, and I start like ripping off Biggie Smalls and then doing my own thing. And we do this whole like hip hop show. These two white boys from New York in the Solomon Islands. And we won the battle of the bands.
So, what?
I mean, those are the crazy things about movies and being on location that were amazing. Now, granted, at that age, that's.
But also, I don't think people realize when you do a movie, you really invade a town.
Yeah.
Like you go up to Vancouver, and all of a sudden there's 8 blocks where you can't drive on.
Yeah,
because there's a camera truck, there's a bunch of porta potty truck, not a porta potty, a truck with like 18 bathrooms on it.
Yeah. There's
everybody's dressing rooms. There's a wardrobe truck. There's a electricity truck. There's a truck with food on it. There's Teamster vans taking you to and from set. And if you live in that town, you're like, what the fuck is going? I'm trying to take my kids to school, assholes.
It's annoying.
And then if you have a scene on the street, let's say I'm pulling out of my driveway and they're shooting a scene on my street, they will actually stop you from leaving your driveway so that your stupid car isn't in.
You can't even if you're late for work. You can't. Yeah. No, we're in the middle. We
can't have a 2008 Jetta in Thin Red Line. Okay. Hey, there's no Jettas in Guadalajara, in Solomon Islands.
And no, sir, you can't walk. No, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to walk. Go around.
Yeah,
Fuck
go
you,
around or wait here until we're done. And it's like, think of how mad you get when there's construction and you got to take a detour. Now imagine it's just like a guy with a walkie-talkie going, you can't walk down the street. And you go, why? We're filming a movie. And your initial response is, well, I don't really give a shit. I live here. I need to go home. Okay, but we're not done with the scene yet. Kate Hudson needs to smell Owen Wilson's fart and run out of the house. Then you can go to your real life with your real family.
But you're not rolling. Yeah, but we're about to.
We're about to. We need everything real quiet. We need and then there's you got to get the local cops.
Oh, yeah.
I know you know this, but you got to get all the local cops in your pocket because they need to lock up the streets. You can't have because if you're shooting something in the 50s, if you're doing like Forrest Gump, You can't have like a fucking 2002 Honda Accord roll by. Otherwise, it's a laughing stock.
You can't even have, even if it's the same era, you just can't have your license plate because they can't.
Oh, that's right. You can't clear the license plate.
They can't clear anything, or they have to clear you, or they have to pay you.
Isn't it amazing when you do a movie and you use someone's name in the movie, like Private Doll? They would have to go through history and see if there was ever a Private Doll, and if there was a Private Doll, can't use the name.
Nope.
And you're like, well, what is he going?
I don't know how they actually come up with names in movies because somebody's named that, and it's true. Every time I'm shooting, it's the level of clearance and the amount of money I think they get to spend or something. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a great point. I don't know how.
How do you come up with a name?
Yeah, like if
somebody's
I'm like,
named
Private
that name.
Doll, I don't know.
There's a doll out there.
Dalton?
I think my name was Donald Doll. No offense to Donald Duck.
He's a big listener.
Donald. But if there's got to be a Donald Doll, if you're out there,
email the show.
There we go.
At jmohr.com. And I'm doing live comedy. You can come see me, Brea Improv, in November. So just go to breaimprov.com or improv.com and just click, or just go to jmohr.com. All my dates are there. Warriors won serious money this past week at DraftKings.com. If you play fantasy football, don't sit through a sucky season with a bad team hitting the waiver wire for nothing. America's favorite one-week fantasy football league. You got to check them out. DraftKings takes watching football to a whole new level because you win cash every week, every game. DraftKings is a one-week fantasy football, so no season-long commitments, no being stuck with the same players, just instant cash, instant gratification. One guy won $100,000 his very first time. $100,000? Come on. $100,000 day one. DraftKings.com. Right now, Warriors get up to $600 free. Use promo code JAYJ. And for every dollar you deposit, DraftKings will match it up to $600. That's $600 totally free. Hurry. This amazing offer expires this Friday. Enter the promo code JAY, today at DraftKings.com. And please email me when you win that money, and we will celebrate together. DraftKings.com. Promo code J. So, Ray Donovan, when you sign up to do it, do you realize how great it's going to be? Or are you like, I'm the eternal optimist. Like, I annoy everybody. Everything I agree to do, even if it's garbage. Like,
and Pluto. By the way, I just got to say this. I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
I appreciate the love that I got, but I'm a huge fan too. And I really appreciate you saying that. I've been watching you act for years, and actually you've beaten me out for a bunch of parts over the years, and I'd be like, fucking Jay Mohr, the guy gets everything and I can't get arrested, and that's a testament to your talent. So I just wanted to big up you because
what parts
I'm a big
did I beat you out for?
I have to go down a list. I mean, there's a bunch of pilots that didn't go.
Dash Mihok right now has printed out my IMDb page, and he's brought it with him to Fake Mustache Studios.
Let's see here.
FakeMustache.com if you want to see all the other podcasts.
I marked a couple here. 200 cigarettes.
So you're up for the part of Nick in 200 cigarettes.
Yeah. It says Jack here, but I thought it was Nick.
It was Jack. Sorry.
Go. You definitely beat me out on Go. King's Ransom, I believe you beat.
You didn't want that one.
I didn't want that one. Suicide King.
You would have been great in Suicide Kings as someone else other than me.
And I in my mind, I remember a number of pilots that might not have gone, but I was always just like, Jay.
Did you audition for Go with Doug Lyman?
Yeah.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
Did he give you like the most bizarre direction in the world?
Like I said, I block these things out now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't.
Doug, like a Terrence Malick, and I was going to say earlier, like there's really four names, like Terrence Malick, Scorsese, Allen, Soderbergh. Those are like four names. Like it just changes your life. Even auditioning for it changes you. It's a month where that's all you think about. You don't even feed your children. You're like, just feed yourselves. I got to practice this. I got to get it right. I think in the business we call it rehearsing instead of practice. I digress. Sorry. But the thing is with, I don't even know what the fuck I was going to talk about. What was I even saying? I did that stupid.
We were talking about Doug Lyman. You were talking about Ray Donovan.
Thank you very much. Dash picks me up, Maddie. You can call me a fucking Goomba, but my friend Dash, who almost got a part in 200 Cigarettes, but I beat him out for it. That's amazing, because I look at your resume and I see the films you do. Like, I would have loved to have been the officer in Silver Linings Playbook. That was a great part.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
And Bradley Cooper should have won the Oscar for that.
Bradley's the best.
He should have won the Oscar. No one talks about this.
He deserves everything. He really made that movie special.
To play bipolar off your meds
I know.
is how do you, I mean, he was amazing in it. And who won? Abe Lincoln? Come on.
Well, that was
he's on the penny.
Yeah, I don't want to get started with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, you guys got a beef? I heard you and Daniel Day-Lewis got in a fist fight at Hooters the other day. What happened with that?
My shoes are better than his.
Yeah. He's a cobbler. He quit acting to become a cobbler in Italy.
That's what I'm saying. I make
a great reference.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sneakers.
But what I was going to tell you, and thank you for reminding me, because Matty Boy wanted to mock me instead. But it was an abrupt stop. I don't know what I was talking about. Is that you work with some directors that have, and even like 200 Cigarettes, Risa Brayman Garcia, she had like great vision. It's like being a point guard, like Magic Johnson sees the whole court and he knows what's happening. And Steve Nash, they know what's happening before it happens. And they see everything. Whereas Doug Liman just sees something so razor thin specific that when he gives you direction, you think, is this guy insane?
Right.
I remember once me and Scott Wolf were doing a scene in a liquor store and he goes, look, make believe you're a gorilla. That's what he actually said to me. And he thinks he's a gorilla, but he's not a gorilla. He's a mountain lion. But you have to let him think that he is a gorilla in order for this to work. And Scott Wolf kept going, what? And then finally I pulled Scott Wolf aside. I said, if you ask this guy one more question, I'm going to fucking punch you in the face in front of the whole crew. And I'm not joking. Just do it. And he's going to tell us we did a good job. And so we do the scene and he comes over. He goes, huh? Mountain lion, gorilla, right? Right? And we're like, you got it, Doug. You're the man. And then he goes on to direct Born Identity. So it turns out he does have good vision.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you guys about dollarshaveclub.com. I don't ever put my name on something I don't believe in. dollarshaveclub.com. I did not think you could improve upon the regular old razor. They did. These guys are the best. They deliver amazing quality razor blades and other bathroom goodness right to your door for just a couple bucks a month. dollarshaveclub.com. No more schlepping to the store and having them unlock the razor blades for you. No more painful shaves with old worn out razors. Everybody is getting dollarshaveclub.com blades. I got them. They are the best razors I have ever used. Get this. Dollar Shave Club heard about the amazing mustache I'm growing for Movember to raise money to fight cancer. So they reached out to sponsor me and the More Stories podcast. For every one of you that signs up with the promo code J, my name, J-A-Y, they're going to donate $10 to my Movember team. $10 to help fight cancer from each and every one of you that signs up using the promo code J. Go sign up now at dollarshaveclub.com with the promo code J. We get a $10 donation. You get amazing razors for a few bucks a month. Promo code J-A-Y-J. Shave time, shave money. dollarshaveclub.com.
Yeah, I think Baz Luhrmann did that with me when I was doing auditioning for Benvolio, and he was like, and Romeo and Juliet, he was like, so Dash, pretend Leo is a deer, and you don't want to frighten him. You know, I was like, okay, I could do that. He's a deer. I'm not going to frighten him. I'm going to come up, you know.
Were you versed in Shakespeare when you got the role in Romeo and Juliet?
I was so versed in Shakespeare because, as you said,
when you know nerd high school.
Well, no, but because as you said, when you know you're up for a part like that, you just get versed.
Oh.
So I mean, I knew Shakespeare, but I had 5 auditions for that. So by the time I got that role, I knew that play. So in and out, you know.
I also, it's weird that
you
was your
auditioned
direction.
for Mercutio and they went black.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. I know.
And
they went Harold Perrineau and they were like, he can't do the
I was supposed to be in a wheelchair on Oz and they went black too. The thing.
I know you were in your thing going, this is fucking bullshit, this guy.
But the weird thing about what you're saying about what Baz Luhrmann told you is anytime I picture Leo DiCaprio, I picture a deer.
He's a deer.
And I don't want to scare him. Even if I'm watching Catch Me If You Can on like TNT, I am real still in my bed. I don't make any noise. Ever. And my wife will be like going through like, a rapper and I'm like, don't do that. You're going to scare the deer.
Look at him. He's just a little doe.
He's
just
a little...
Don't.
Was that really a note from Baz Luhrmann?
He did. I remember that. I don't remember a ton, but we had a really long, extensive audition session, and he at one point was like, "He's a deer." And to his credit, he gave me a ton of direction, and that was just one of many. I mean, he's a brilliant director, and
did that direction? In all seriousness, did it? Because I can see where like maybe that will help you. Like I don't know.
I don't know. Frighten a deer. Just tell me like, look, the kid's. You don't want. He's a little hurt. He's a little banged up. His heart's broken with this other broad, and you want to approach him. You want to approach him softly.
The fucking Manhattan version of Romeo and Juliet. He's banged up over a broad. What do you want?
You come in there. Rosalind just broke his fucking heart, and he's like, the deer might have been a little too soft. Maybe a cub.
He's a cub. He's a bear cub.
He's a little cubby.
Don't break his balls. He got his heart broken by this chooch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's go to a party and meet some other broad. Look at it to a fish tank.
Forget about it. Don't bring Mercutio. You know what I mean? Might be hard to get in if you bring Mercutio. When you do Ray Donovan, is there automatically a season 2?
No, there wasn't. I think we got picked up on when they aired episode 3.
It's such a great show, Dash, and you're so great in it. And if it wasn't for Jon Voight, I would say absolutely you're getting an Emmy nomination. But Jon Voight it's almost like he's doing kind of Christopher Walken. Did you ever feel that on the set?
I think they were talking about Christopher Walken at one point, but I couldn't imagine it being Christopher Walken. I love Christopher Walken.
It would have been a little too Christopher Walken.
It would have been a different show.
I just got out of the joint.
Oh, Ray.
Jon Voight is so
I love black ass. It's my favorite.
What do you want? I couldn't
go twerk it for me, baby.
Yeah.
I know. We all have to do that.
I'm
mine's
just
not
happy
so
you
good.
did it. As soon as I said Christopher Walken, I can hear the listener going, "Great, he's got to work his fucking Walken impression into the podcast." But then you did it, so you took me off the hook. People. No, it was good. I like hearing other people's Walkens. I love it. Anytime people on the street go, "I do a really good Walken," I'm always like, "Please tell me." Yeah. Because sometimes it's fucking amazing. And then when it's bad, it's so bad, and they're waving their hands around like, "I gotta have more ice cream.
I gotta get more watches in his ass, boy."
Yes. And you're like, is that Gene Simmons, David Lee Roth, or is that Christopher Walken? What the fuck was that? So Jon Voight, when you do a lot of your scenes are with Jon Voight.
Yes.
He's your dad in the movie.
Yes.
Now, does he talk during breaks? Is it like small talk, or is there no small talk?
No, there's small talk.
Is it a light set?
It's a light set with a bunch of heavyweights. So when people are really into doing their thing, they may be a little more in their own world, but for the most part, we have a lot of fun with each other, and John's always willing to try something else and improv a line and say something like, "Let's try this and make it wacky this way or more dramatic this way," and he's game. He's a real gamer, and so that makes it fun for us.
I think I ask because we haven't seen Jon Voight in a long time, and all of a sudden he pops up on Ray Donovan, and he's
killing it.
A+. Like there's no room for improvement. What Jon Voight is doing. He really fucked you out of an Emmy.
He did fuck me out of an Emmy.
If he gets nominated for an Emmy, we're going to kneecap him. Little Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding. We'll get Jeff Galul or whatever his name was.
The day.
No. So who on the set, don't you hate when you do like press junkets and you got to sit down with like, "Good morning, Des Moines," and like, "Any pranks on the set you can tell us about, Dash?"
Yeah, I really took a shit in John Travoy's trailer, and then he came in.
We can't air that, can we, guys? All right, let's go to our cooking segment. Speaking of shit, here's some eggs.
No, yeah, that's.
Do you do a lot of press for a Showtime show?
I've done some. I think that this season it's really, the show's called Ray Donovan, so Leo's carrying the heavyweight of the interviews, and John, obviously, those are the two guys, it's their story.
You ever wish you had scenes with people that are, because there's different worlds going on at the same time during Ray Donovan. Like Liev Schreiber's character Ray Donovan has a relationship with Elliot Gould, but that you and Elliot Gould really never cross paths. Do you ever go, "Man, I wish I could work with Elliot Gould today"?
100%.
Yeah.
There's people that I want to work with, like James Woods. Like I want to work more with Steven Bauer. I think Liev Liev wants me to come work for him. He's like, oh, what if Bunchy was working for me? So I'd be thrown into that world. That would be a lot of fun.
I really can't say this enough. If you guys have not seen Ray Donovan, I want you to watch Ray Donovan, but I want you to really pay attention to Dash Mihok. It's just one of the most heartbreaking things. But usually it's like heartbreak and you're like, wow, that guy's really fucked up. But your heartbreak, and I don't want to give anything away, it's like, well, I understand, and I think I would be like that too. But it's so... I've never played or I've never been asked to play anything that deep and that layered. Like when you went to work. Like you had a fucking job. You couldn't be playing ping pong at lunch. Like you had these crazy heartbreaking scenes you got to do all the time.
Yeah, which is it's the best thing ever. I mean, people are like, "What do you get to go to work?" I mean, I would read these scripts and go like, "Wow!" And we do table reads in front of the network, and I couldn't help it. Like, at table reads when you're around, you're like, don't act it, but you kind of can't help it. You're reading the lines, and the emotions are already coming out sometimes. And I was just like, "Wow, I got to go deep in this," and that. Not to be a cliched actor, but that is really delicious, and it's fun. And I'm glad. Somebody lets me do the heavy lifting.
Do you ever wish? Have you ever asked Liev Schreiber to briefly make believe he's narrating your life?
No, but I'm going to save that card because I'm sure there's going to be some documentary that I need him to say a few lines for.
Not even a documentary.
Just doing me walking down the street.
Just literally like onto the set.
I know.
Walks Dash Mihok.
I know. He should be on my answering machine. A lot of things. First season. Give the guy a break. He's doing a lot of hours.
The offense strikes with the lightning of Thor. It is one of the more alarming voices when he does the 24/7s on HBO and he narrates Hard Knocks on HBO that you think when you see his face, you're like, well, I don't know how that voice can act and be like a real guy. Like he's not a voiceover guy. Apparently he is, but he's just a great actor.
He's just a tremendous actor. I mean, there's the thing about Liev, and we love this on the set. We talk about this all the time, and he said, "Look, we're all supporting actors. Like the majority of our career.
That's what lead actors always tell me.
Yeah,
lesser events.
Exactly.
Thanks, Liev.
Yeah, thanks, Liev. But
thanks, Ray Donovan.
But I think it took him a while. I think it took him a while to come to terms with being a lead. I don't think it's a place that he has felt comfortable in. And then I would lean over and I'm like, sure, Hamlet. I'm like, maybe whatever. Except that you've played every Shakespearean lead,
Mr. Broadway
at the public,
fancy pants.
And he's like, yeah, but it's different. And I'm like, no, you're Hamlet, so you can do this. But in that sense, we have a camaraderie that we're all, trying to, build this story and be these characters for each other. And
what Ray Donovan did right, and it got a little waterlogged. There was a lot of characters, like a lot of people Ray had to help
introduce a lot of things.
People related to those people. That he's a fixer, I guess you would call it. Ray Donovan's a fixer, kind of a made man. That's safe to say, right?
Yeah.
And they're right around episode 3, 4, 5. You go, I can't even keep up with all these fucking jobs Ray Donovan has. But I will say, whoever's at the top of the ship, whoever's running it, and whoever's at the top of the totem pole, brilliantly. Just under our noses when we were paying attention, just trim this person away, trim this person away, trim this person away. And then the last 2 episodes, family only.
Yeah.
Just family. And you go, oh, okay, if second season, I can just watch these 8 people and the fucking batshit going back and forth, even just you guys in the gym, you and his brother Terry and Ray Donovan and
Pooch Hall.
And Pooch Hall.
Yeah.
It's exceptional, and it's so rare. It's so great now because now cable is just kicking the shit out. Do you laugh when you see like a bus go by and it goes, NBC's new comedies in the fall, and you're like, what? Oh, wait, it's fall. It's a season for shows?
Mom, Dad, We Are Men, Father, Cousins.
Childhood isn't easy, and neither is parenthood. Watch Dads. Right, it's a Big Bang Theory. No thanks. I'm going to watch Ray Donovan.
All I could say is after many, many years of of many pilot seasons and being up for those things. And
Your mouth, Dash.
Okay.
Star of Ray Donovan. You play Bunchy on Ray Donovan, and you may know him from The Thin Red Line. We could go through your whole IMDb. Maybe you know him from his guest appearance on Law & Order. Maybe you know it from Burn Notice or The Good Wife. I feel like I'm reading someone else's. Where are all the movies here?
There's a bunch of movies. Last 5 years, been a little rough for the movie business.
You were on Foxfire. But screw all that noise. I got to say, Dash, you and my wife were friends like as kids.
We
you guys
were.
did a pilot together.
Yep, we did. We did
How
a
old
show
were you guys?
together. I was 21. Yeah, I was 21. We did the show called Pearl with Rhea Perlman and Lucy Liu and Malcolm McDowell and Kevin Corrigan, a crazy cast, Carol Kane.
My wife says to this day, greatest show on TV ever that never got picked up as a pilot.
No. We did a season.
Oh, like I said, my wife always says.
Yeah,
I didn't
she
know
was
you
a
did
guest. She did more than one episode.
She said she was on it.
Yeah, so we
and
did
Malcolm
one.
McDowell had like these crazy long speeches.
Insane long speeches.
Oh yeah, they did do a season.
We did one season
because another guy from Clockwork Orange did a guest spot. The guy that played the creepy professor,
Yes.
and him and Malcolm McDowell in the middle of recording that day just sat down at the edge of a bed on the set
And went
did
off.
the entire scene, including the teacher grabbing his balls at the end.
Yeah.
So Ray Donovan is what you know him as right now. He's not Ray Donovan. That's Liev Schreiber. But cooler is that you play the character of Bunchy. And I got to tell you, This episode of More Stories brought to you by Stamps.com. Think about how many hours you've had to waste going to the post office for your business or your personal items, driving there, parking, waiting for the next available clerk. Are you kidding? Yeah, that's a long wait. There's nothing I can do to get those hours back to you, but I can save you time moving forward. You got to get Stamps.com. Stamps.com brings all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your desk 24/7. Here's my desk. Here's my digital scale. Got my printer set up right here. I'm all set to go. I buy, print, official U.S. postage, all of it, using my own stuff 24/7. I don't need anybody. Stamps.com sends you a digital scale, not mine. Get your own. Instantly calculate exact postage for any letter or package, any class of mail. You will never have to go to the post office again, ever. Special offer right now. Use my last name, Mohr, M-O-H-R, for this special offer. No risk trial. $110 bonus offer that includes the digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the home page, and type in Mohr, M-O-H-R. Stamps.com, enter Mohr. Warriors won serious money this past week at DraftKings.com. If you play fantasy football, don't sit through a sucky season with a bad team hitting the waiver wire for nothing. America's favorite one-week fantasy football league. You got to check them out. DraftKings takes watching football to a whole new level because you win cash every week, every game. DraftKings is a one-week fantasy. It really is like upper-level acting, what you're doing on Ray Donovan, to wash your balls for a second. The character of Bunchy is so complicated and so hard. And when I watch it, I think I couldn't do that role. I couldn't. I wouldn't even know how to go because your character is like tortured on Ray, not literally, internally, literally, just completely tortured. Now, your audition for Ray Donovan, was it an offer or do you have to audition and play those excruciating, painful, sad scenes in front of some casting director and some fat girl working a camera?
Yeah, I did have to audition, and luckily I auditioned for the creator of the show, Ann Binneman, right away. So I didn't have to go through an extended casting process. But yeah, I walked into a room and tried to give this this guy the layers he deserves because there's a lot going on with him.
Does it say in the character breakdown when you do the script? Does it say like how tortured he is, or do you go in, or did you just take liberty and go? Did you go full on in? Did you dive head first and do what we see Bunchy doing on Ray Donovan? Is that pretty much what you did in the room? Because that's scary to do in front of strangers.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I read this script and I was like, this is the best pilot I've read in 10 years. And immediately I knew they were going to have me coming for Bunchy. And then I said, this is the one I want. And, you say that a million times in your career and it never happens and you never even get a shot at it. So I was really, excited about this one, and I went hard in it. In fact, I think they pulled me back a little bit because I was crying and doing the whole business, and then the director Alan Coulter was like, "Okay, now we have that. Let's try and pull it back." And then I went in again to read with Liev for the network and all that business. But
is he as cool as we all think he is?
Liev is very cool, and what people don't know about Liev is that he everybody thinks he's just the serious Shakespearean actor, which he is, and the voice of every documentary that you've ever seen in your life.
Cold November wind, like the Cincinnati
it's ridiculous.
Bengals,
I mean, it's really ridiculous. But he's really a goof too, and just kind of a kid from the village, like I am in New York. So
you grew up in the village?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Bank Street.
That's nice, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. I went to PS3. He went to 41, I think. And
that's got to be tough. New York public schools got to be like way out there as far as getting your ass kicked every day.
Yeah. And then I went to school in the Bronx. I think you were talking about going to Yankee Stadium at some point. And I used to take the D train to the last stop in the Bronx in high school every day. You know how many fucking beepers? Beepers and how many beepers and
no, we
headphones?
curse all the time on this.
I got taken. I mean, I must have thousands of dollars worth of electronics. Beepers.
I like your beeper, man. That's how you know you're getting mugged as soon as you get complimented. For people that aren't New York specific, if you're listening from another part of the country, in Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, it's not like, hey, give me your shoes. That's not how you get mugged in New York City. How you get mugged in New York City football. So no season-long commitments, no being stuck with the same players, just instant cash, instant gratification. One guy won $100,000 his very first time. $100,000? Come on. $100,000 day one. DraftKings.com. Right now, Warriors get up to $600 free. Use promo code JAYJ. And for every dollar you deposit, DraftKings will match it up to $600. That's $600 totally free. Hurry. This amazing offer expires this Friday. Enter the promo code JAY, today at DraftKings.com. And please email me when you win that money, and we will celebrate together. DraftKings.com, promo code J.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man!
Oh my gosh, he is an Emmy Award winner waiting to happen. Dash Mihok, you got to hold the mic real close.